Good evening. Good evening. So, 10 years ago was when I thought about running in local elections. A bit more than 10 years ago. I thought, we've got to do stuff for the community because nobody else is doing it. And they're just thinking about everyone else and bothered about everything else, but not our local communities. So I contested. I was nominated to run in Hollingwood ward. I successfully did a month's campaign and I got 174 votes. Now, that wasn't just me, mainly the people in the area because they know me. The people who voted for me, a lot of them know me and they've known me well for many years. So that's where I got my support from. But yes, the Oldham elections it is. Good evening, Arlene. My mum's there talking to herself because she can hear me talking. So it was the Oldham elections. One councillor per ward, except for one ward, Medlock ward, which is having two councillors because one stepped down, a Muslim woman stepped down. No reason why she stepped down. I would think that the push for diversity puts people in positions that they can't handle. Maybe she couldn't handle it when she got in that position. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Mr. Rimmer in the chat there. It certainly is, Paul. I got round about 10% of the vote and I only campaigned for a month. I had trouble with my leaflets. But yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I did say, yes, sir, good evening. I did say that I would get between 150 and 200 votes. And that's what I said to Patrick McGinnis a couple of days before voting. And I got 174. So I was exactly right. So my campaign again starts next week. Next week, I've got the postal vote list here. And I'm going to go through that and knock on every single door to get them votes in. But yeah, so I came home, got home about 9:30. I changed into my black jacket because I had my red one on. And then back to the council, back to the Queen Elizabeth Hall for the count. We got in, me and Peter Smith. Not in the chat yet, but Peter Smith, who was my election agent, come supporting me after his work at 5 o'clock. And then we went down to Limeside, visited all the polling stations twice, took some notes of how many people had voted. We knew it was going to be a low turnout. It was a 22% turnout in Hollingwood, which is abysmal, compared to some other Oldham wards, 30-odd%. I'll get the Oldham wards up now, actually.
Very good.
Very good, Mum, did you say? Thank you very much, Mum. The Alexandra ward, 24% turnout. Labour hold 1,400 to get elected. Liberal Democrats and Green Party 264,172. Chadderton Central, Labour Party elected. We also had Liberal Democrats, Northern Art UK, Green Party, Conservative Party. The Northern Art UK person got 145 votes, commendable. Chadderton North Ward, Labour elected, 34% turnout, 1,500 elected him, 1,000 fought the Conservative Party, 173 Green, 165 Liberal Democrats. Nice. Chadderton South Ward, certainly the most eyes on ward in the town. Why? It's because Arooj Shah holds that seat. She won it with less than 1,000 votes, 900 and something. She lost just under 100 votes, 96 votes she lost by. Robert Barnes, Conservative Party candidate. But let me just get on to Robert Barnes. Great guy that's done a lot in South Chadderton, I admit, but he's in the Conservatives. And when Boris brought out the Rwanda thing, Robert Barnes was first to put it up. Yeah, look, he's doing something. Nobody has done nothing. There's no planes gone to Rwanda or anything. And we've had hundreds, if not thousands of people in since Boris said that. So Robert Barnes, you go and tell Boris why he's not moving these people. It's just a con. They did all this just a couple of weeks. But this is what I mean. That's what I mean, this. If you're going to get elected, obviously you've got to work for it. And I've got a year now to work to get elected. Now, Robert Barnes has been consistently going through. A lot of the other candidates don't. They only come out the last 2 months before the election to do any campaigning, when mine's going to start next week. Mine. And it's a bit of disgrace. I mean, to people of Oldham, you really need to stop voting the main two parties. You really need to stop voting. Look at the independents, look at a different party. Because we're not going to get nowhere with these guys. These guys are politically correct. They won't call a spade a spade. They'll only call it a fork. And the appeasement to minority communities affects all the rest of the community, which they don't care about. It's been going on years in Oldham. Talked about this the other week. I'm not making things up. The Coldhurst ward, another one, 48% turnout. 48% turnout. Now, that will be to do with the independent and the Labour guy. Last year, the independent lost by less than 100 votes. This year, he's won by 200 and odd votes. But I mean, what can we say about Azad Montaz Ali Azad? Was in the Labour Party. When he got caught as a director of a company hiring illegal workers, he was still in the Labour Party for up to a year afterwards. Then they booted him out. And as I've said many times, when they fall out with each other, they go to war. Now, he's gone in as an independent and he's won the seat. But let's not cover anything up. If a white person had been done for hiring illegal workers, I'm sure that his name would be all over the papers. He would be demonized by the press and the local press. This guy isn't. He's not demonized. Why? Why? Because of political correctness. They don't want to upset the minority. And that's how they get away with it. So he's won. And I must say, it's a tough win for him in that ward. 48% turnout. Certainly one of the most contested wards in Oldham at the moment. Like I said, last election, last year, he lost by 70 votes. He's come back to win this time. So he's in for a year. Then it's a full election next year. So 3 councillors per ward. He'll probably get in again. But let's not forget, director of a company hiring illegal workers. And this is pre-referendum, when everyone was going on about immigration and illegal people. And he had illegal workers, which could have been either cash in hand people or illegal immigrants. And he had them working at his place. But it's all right for him. Nothing will get said. It won't be in the mainstream news or anything. Why? Because we're still politically correct in Oldham. Everybody is still politically correct in Oldham, including independents. Crompton ward, Lib Dems held that. 1,353, 32% turnout. Labour Party guy, 377. Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth, Shell Moore, 307, and Conservative, 617. Why they still vote Lib Dem? But probably why is probably Dave Murphy is a part of their community, and he probably does the right things to be re-elected. No matter if he was in the Labour Party, they'd probably all vote Labour and elect him in. So he must be half a good guy. Failsworth East. Failsworth Independent Party have been elected there. They've now got each of the wards, they've now got 5 councillors in. So well done to Failsworth Independent Party. I mean, they've had a lot of shit off the media, smear campaigns, trying to brand them and all that. But they've come through and they've got 5 councillors in the Failsworth area now. So they dominate that area. Failsworth West, Sandra Ball elected. 1,390 votes, 31% turnout. Hollingwood ward, my ward. Karen Barton, Liberal Democrats, 151. Masood Hussain, Conservative Party, 313. John Lawrence, National Housing Party, Our People First, 174. Jean Stretton, with Labour Party, 1,010. Jean is the ex-leader of the Labour Party, a veteran in counselling in Oldham. And I had no doubt that she would win the election. Certainly would win the election. I had no doubt of that. Rob Vance, Northern Arts, 67. Now, in Hollingwood, people were telling me that they've only seen a Labour Party leaflet and my leaflet. That's what a lot of people were saying. So I don't know where the Conservative Party leaflets, Liberal Democrat, if Northern Art did it, but I personally put through every single door in that area in Hollingwood ward. My leaflets were shoved right through until they dropped. I don't leave things in the letterbox, me. And I did that. So I'm going to cap it at 174, and I had a month's campaign. Now I've got a year's campaign coming out. So how well will I do in a year? Thank you, Steve. Mum is right. Well done, John. Yes, White Knight. The Rwanda deal is reciprocal, meaning we accept people from Rwanda two-way traffic, although I hope it's not true. We're doomed. There should be White Knight election fraud, right? If you're a nominee or wanting to be a councillor like me, and you're involved in election fraud, should never, ever be able to run again. But it doesn't work like that. These people, as we've shown in Peterborough, they come back and they're there doing again, helping the Labour Party or whatever. They shouldn't even be nowhere near voting. They shouldn't be. They should be barred from voting. On my register, there's numbers on, letters on to tell you who can vote and who you can't vote. Should have a letter on it saying you can't vote in any local, national, or any referendums for postal voting fraud. And that's something that I will draft up and be forwarding on to election people about it. Yeah, the fire tile factory. Well, White Knight, the National Housing Party United Kingdom are on for ending permanent settlement, no refugees, nor asylum seekers. That's it, final. There will be exceptions if you're going to marry and things like that, but we will get down to that, and we will have a policy in our policy, but end permanent settlement to the United Kingdom from anywhere in the world, no refugees, no asylum seekers. Now, a lot of you will think, oh, well, that's horrible and all that. These people travel through half a dozen different safe countries, so why are they coming here? Why are they going to the other side of the world? They're coming here because they know they're going to get a free ride. They know they're going to get sucked up into our benefit system. They know that they can claim lots of things and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons. I generally think somebody might be fleeing in terror or anything like that, but it's a minority amount. It's not a majority amount. But, you know, the middle classes and the lovies and all that who are for pro-immigration, they'll never say that. They'll never say everybody is nice, but they're not all nice. Certainly not all nice. So let's get back on to the election. So Medlock Vale Ward, there was electing 2 councillors because one of them stood down. A Muslim woman stood down, and I've told you, right? There's 2 reasons why she stood down. She can't handle the pressure because diversity has put her there when she's not the right person for it, or the men in her community have said to her to stand down. Them are the only 2 reasons that she stood down. And again, this diversity push to get people elected has put shit people in our council. It's put people in our council who are misogynistic. Put people in our council who are racist to white people. Put people in our council who are just deaf, dumb and blind and just follow. And of course, they do. The odd paedophile, the odd accused paedophile gets through. We have to remember that in my ward, the Hollingwood ward, they had Martin Judd in, who was alleged accused. There was a paper thing about him that he'd looked at child sexual images. His case got dropped, acquitted all of a sudden. Nobody knows why, but he's stood down. He's not a Labour councillor, and that's in Hollingwood. That's in the Hollingwood ward. Many people don't realise, but they had a possible pedo as the local councillor. You just couldn't make it up, and it's all right. I mean, besides him, he's a white dude, but Abdul Jabbar, he was promoting a convicted paedophile just a couple of years ago, who was stood alongside him when he was trying to get into the council. And only after pressure did this guy drop down. Pressure from other normal people. What did he drop down? So that's what Oldham's like. Oldham, it's all right if you're a paedophile, you can still get elected. It's all right in Oldham if you're a paedophile, you can still run through the challenge of getting elected. In Oldham, when you've been accused of paedophilia like that, accused of child sexual images, he had 50 of one class. He had all 3 classes of child sexual imagery, from the very bad to the least worst. He had all 3 classes. I don't remember the exact amounts, but that's what they said. So he'd been magistrates, then he was on the way to Crown Court, and then all of a sudden the case gets dropped. No, I don't know why. Nobody else has said why. I would like to know why. It's not like he's been absolved of all crimes. It doesn't say that in the article when he got dropped. Let me just see if I can just drag up the article. Former Oldham councillor accused of downloading tens of images of child pornography has been acquitted. Martin Judd, who was elected to represent Hollingwood Ward in 2018, has been due to go on trial over the allegations next year. He appeared at Tameside Magistrates Court and Manchester Minchell Street Court early this year, where he indicated not guilty pleas to his offences been charged with. It was said that between February 2018 and the same month last year, he downloaded 15 Category A, the most serious, 23 Category B, and 50 Category C ones. His case was due to go to trial in January and was previously ordered to provide a defence statement setting out his response to allegations. But the case against the man from Jenny Street, Oldham, called again in court today, where he was acquitted of all 3 charges. He was originally from New Zealand, elected as a local government elections in 2018, where there were 2 vacancies at the ward. Former Labour politician, he was former, 1,184 votes. So, doesn't say why he was acquitted, but he was acquitted. So, you know, in Oldham, Labour have paedophile protectors in the council, and I'm just never, ever going to accept that that's how our councils are run. I'm never going to accept that. Obviously, all the rest of the people in the council, most of them will accept it, but not me. You know, I'll fight things like this right to the bitter end. I'm not having it. Not in our council. So let's get going on. I said the Medlock Vale ward, where there was 2 positions up for 604 votes. Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth. Mark Birchall. Liberal Democrats 289, 37% turnout. The 2 Labour Party politicians, the Labour Party candidates, both got over 2,000 votes. Liberal Democrats 102. Kaiser Rahman, Conservative Party candidate 670, and another Conservative Party candidate 343, because obviously there was 2 seats going, so they placed 2 people in. So no doubt Labour will be placing 2 candidates in Hollins. Labour Conservative Party will be putting 2 candidates in Hollins, but I'm not going to hold any prisoners. My next leaflet, I'm going to be slagging the Labour Party off and the Conservatives, the Greens and the Liberal Democrats. None of you are any good for our country. We want independent parties in and local, hyper-local political parties. So my next leaflet will be targeted at all the parties, the mainstream parties, because you're not doing nothing. And to Muslims in Oldham, why are you voting Labour and Conservative? Because these are the people who are pushing the indoctrination and sex education in schools, where your kids are going to turn out trans and identify as 100 different identities. I don't understand why you're voting for them parties, because they're not going to stop it. We already seen that there was a local Muslim activist saying that there could be riots in Oldham again over sex education in school, but you lot still are voting for Labour and Conservative. You'd be better off voting for the National Housing Party or standing with me, because I won't accept the sex education in the schools. I don't want that, but I will go through the democratic route to sort it out. We don't have to threaten riots or anything like that. Come and join the National Housing Party and we'll make a big step in stopping that crap in our schools and our kids being indoctrinated. I don't know why you're voting Labour and Conservative when they're pushing this. Labour Party, the Labour leader cannot even tell you the definition of a woman. This is what you're voting for. Sajid Hussain and Umar Nashin. I just don't get it, mate. I really don't get it. Why you're voting Labour when they're pushing this sex education thing, and they're all right with it, and they're all right with this trans thing, they're all right with gender-neutral toilets, and you're voting for the Labour Party. Oh, Lord have mercy. Royton North Ward. I like Royton. Royton would be a place that I might have thought of running in the past, but if you're in Royton and you fancy your chances, contact me. Let's put my details up. Contact me there, john.lawrence at nationalhousingparty.uk, and down south, patrick.mcginnis at nationalhousingparty.uk. Patrick also got 211 votes, and there was 10 candidates running in his ward, and that is an amazing figure for 10 candidates. He also beat the Lib Dem and I think an independent as well. Hull, who have we got on from Hull? Anyone in Hull? Hull have voted in a Liberal Democrat. Why? Because there is no alternative for them. That's why. So we should get somebody in Hull standing under the National Housing Party. I have got a couple of contacts. I will contact them in due short time. But Hull, I want someone to stand in Hull for us. That's what I want to do. Stand in Hull. Royton North Ward, Paul Goldring, not Golding, Goldring. Alliance for Democracy and Freedom, 79. Conservative Party candidate, 1,222. Labour Party, Liberal Democrats. Labour Party got 1,000 votes. I like Royton. I think, I don't know. I need someone to stand up in Royton. So if you're in Royton, get in contact with us and stand up for us. In our party, we don't mince our words. We don't call a spade a fork, and we're honest. Honesty is gonna win. So if you're in Royton, get in contact with me. I certainly wouldn't mind getting a candidate there. So anyway, Royton South Ward. Gary Tarbuck, Conservative Party candidate, 967 votes. Just short, 1,039 got the Labour Party candidate, Marie-Anne Bashforth, in. Northern Arts, 67. Liberal Democrats, 124. Independent, Anthony Joseph Prince, 103. Jim Stidworthy, Green Party, 109. So well done to Gary. That's a good... if Gary is on form to be elected next year with that number. So well done, Gary. Gary certainly looks like he's going to get elected next year if he stands in Royton South. Saddleworth North, Conservative Party, 1,292. All you posh gets in Saddleworth, you're part of the problem, you lot. You're part of the problem. What? Because you're rich, you have to vote Conservatives or whatever. You're part of the problem, guys. You really are part of the problem. So, Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth, Gary John Kershaw, 527. Labour Party, 867. Liberal Democrats, 334. 39% turnout. Good turnout up there. Saddleworth South, 42% turnout. Chris McManus. Oh, I hope it's no relation to Jim McManus. Oh, no, it's not the same, so that's good. Conservative Party candidate, 1196. Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth, 302. Labour Party, 819. Liberal Democrats, 673. Independent, Ellen Bishop, 468. That's a good score there, Ellen. What you should be doing is joining the National Housing Party. That's what you should be doing. But I'm going to try and contact some of the independents and of other people on the list. And I'm going to say, look, join our party. You get a bit more freedom because you can say what you want on our leaflets. just, you know, in the political parties, including the independent political parties, only so far they go on the leaflet. There was no leaflet as honest and as straight out as my leaflet last time. Saddleworth Western Lees Ward, Liberal Democrats elected. 1,379 votes. Paul Shilton, Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth, 1,102. There's another one who's probably going to get in next year. Certainly is going to get in with 1,000 votes. So good on Paul. 1,102 votes. Brilliant. Definitely getting in next year, him. Shaw Ward. Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth, Mark James Inns, 928. Another one who's going to get in next year, certainly with that amount of votes. And the Labour and Cooperative Party, 453. I was checking me. Good evening, Tam. So, right, so some spread lies, others know the truth. Who is who? So how would you do it then? If you're not going to vote, how are you going to change things in the United Kingdom? Please explain. Come on. Some spread lies, others know the truth. Who is who? Tell me how you're going to do it without voting. I'll wait. How are you going to do it without voting? Come on, don't put a comment in my feed if you can't explain. So what are you going to do if you don't vote? What are you going to do? How are you going to get back control of the country? How are you going to get back control of our borders? How are you going to change the indoctrination of our kids in school? How are you going to build more houses? How are you going to solve poverty? How are you going to solve the energy crisis if you don't vote? Please. Right, so what do you want to? I know, but so how do we do things then? How do we do things, mate? Come on, don't finger. You've messaged twice. So how are you going to do things? Please tell me how you're going to do things.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm waiting. And now, if the votes are rigged, it's for us to call them out. Like I said, if we've had an increase in postal votes, is there a security man at the post office? That's a simple question, straightforward question to ask. If not, why isn't there one there? There should be. There's been an increase in postal votes to stop fraud, to make sure everything's cool. There should be a person there. It's as simple as that. So it's up to us, who are the independents and new people coming to politics, to call out these things, which I will be doing. So come on. So if you're not voting, how are you going to do it? You're going to have a revolution. And how many people will die in the revolution? Is that what you want? Because there's no other way of doing it, mate. You either go French Revolution way or you go the voting way. There is no other way you're going to do things. Stopping paying your council tax won't do it. Stopping paying your BBC license won't do it on its own. Refusing to conform is not going to solve the issues of the day. What we need to do is vote, get people in positions where they can use their influence to influence what's going on in our towns and stuff like that. If I was a leader of Oldham Council, first thing I'd do would be I would get convictions on people for being politically correct. That's what I'd do. I also would tell the schools that they stop indoctrinating our children. Not all schools do it, but that's what I would be saying. And I'd actively work with other community members to solve this issue. And the only way I'm going to do that is getting voting and getting a position of, like, in a council position. But other than that, I don't see how you're going to get I don't see how you're going to get any other. So going back to the elections. So let's just get that off the screen. So Shaw Ward, we talked about that, Liberal Democrats. St James Ward, Liberal Democrats 111. Amoy, Lindo Crooks, Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth 322, which is a very marked increase from the last time she run. Conservative Party 807, Labour Party 866, Green Party 82. Just over 2,000 people, 25% turnout, not big, but it's a really good score for Amoy, that. Let me just see if I can find the last ones. $285 last time, 12%. Now she's up to 388, which will keep rising, that number for Amoy. So good on Amoy. And she's still in it as well. Over a year ago, a couple of years ago, Mank Dave were with me, and she wasn't really getting a bit down on the elections, but she's certainly popped back up. 388 votes. So really good again. It's getting better. The thing is, I know Amoy all my life, and I know all the family as well. Certainly an hard-working, honest person of Oldham. St Mary's Ward, this is where I live. Liberal Democrats, 203. Green Party, 140. Conservative Party, 168. Labour Party elected on 1,896 votes. And that's my ward. My mum voted Labour Party, and I voted Liberal Democrats in that thing. And I mean, it wouldn't have made much difference. 1,896 the Labour guy got in with, which is more than twice. It's 3 times the amount of all the other candidates put together. But, I mean, a lot of people don't vote in St Mary's Ward. And, you know, it's where I lived most of my life. So there's no reason why my party wouldn't do well here. I have got a couple of people lined up to ask if they'll run as a councillor in St Mary's. So that's more ongoing stuff. And remember, I mean, I can say that. I can say that I've got a couple of people who I want to visit to run as a candidate. Why? It's because this is where I live. I know the area. I know hundreds, if not thousands of people who live around here. So, yeah, there's good possibilities for St Mary's in the future. Waterhead Ward. Linda Dawson, Labour Party and Labour and Cooperative Party. Rayaz Ahmed, 1,350, 26% turnout, low. Liberal Democrats, 245. Conservative Party, 435. Northern Art, 241. Finally, Werneth Ward, 35% turnout, 2,730 he got elected. Conservative Party, 179. Liberal Democrats, 175. So, yeah, so that's it. I just want to say that Hollingwood's my ward. And if you're an independent or you're part of any of the other parties or whatever, except for the main ones, just don't bother running there because that's my ward. That I just thought I'd let to tell you. I'm a nice guy. I'm very honest and all that lot. I'm not going to fight with you over it or anything, but I'm just letting you know where I'm putting where my hat's going down, and it's in Oldham. And I don't intend to move from there until I've mastered it and got 3 National Housing Party candidates in that ward. But yeah, so really good, really interesting election, especially on the Chadderton South, where Arooj Shah lost a seat, and the Coldhurst ward. And I mean, Arooj Shah. Let's look at something. Let's just check something out. Sarah, if you're in the chat, Sarah, email me, please, love. Email me. Come on, we'll have a chat, and you can stand up to be a candidate. And I'm sure you'll do well. Right, so let me just... So, Arooj Shah, I'm sorry to have to write to you in these circumstances. Everything I sent to you so far has been positive and setting out what I have been doing to help local people and make Chadderton better. I have been aware of leaflets being circulated by an organisation called Rescuant 9, Rescuant 9, which is in fact a one-man political operation run by Raja Miah. Many of you will not know who he is, and there is no reason why you should unless your child or granddad attended the failed Collective Spirit Free School in Chadderton. Raja Miah was a boss at the school, and after numerous failings came to light, he found himself at the centre of calls for an investigation into corruption safeguarding concerning at the school. From the day the government investigation reported its findings, Raja Miah set out on a campaign to revenge against the local MP. At the time, I worked for the MP, supporting constituents to get problems sorted out. I wanted justice for the children badly let down at school, but my interest became more urgent as claims of abuse and safeguarding failures came to light. Well, let me just tell you, Arooj Shah, what about Clarksfield Primary School and Iqbal High School in Glodwick? What about them? What about the failings at them school where the kids don't even speak English properly when they leave? What about that failings, Arooj Shah? Nothing said about that. You just got to focus on that Collective Free Spirit School. But I've said this before. In Oldham, when you're dealing with Muslims, it's World War III when they fall out with each other, and nobody says nothing. Nobody says nothing. Arooj Shah, you should know you should know well how that men in your own community put a smear campaign saying you slept and shagged your way to the top to get the council leader position when you first stood up. And that was men in your own community. It weren't anyone white. It weren't no right-wingers. It was men in your own community. You still put out that right-wing nonsense when it was men in your own community who did this. Brown men who pray to the east 5 times a day who did this. Not anyone white and not anyone right-wing. So just remember that, Shah, next time you're doing it. Oh, shit, you won't be doing a leaflet because you're not the council leader no more and you lost your seat. Oh, God damn. And, of course, you're always pushing on this right-wing thing so people will feel sorry for you. And it's just not working in Oldham, unfortunately, Miss Arooj Shah. It's not working in Oldham. I didn't know that public service would lead to a 3-year-long campaign of abuse and harassment against me, now leading to false and defamatory leaflets being circled. But she says 3-year-long campaign of abuse off one person, but she doesn't mention, when she first stood up to be a councillor, they put her down, men in her own community. When she became the council leader, a car got firebombed. Is it because you support one gang against another gang? Is that what it is? Got rival gangs in Oldham, rival Muslim gangs. It's a joke. This is a joke. It's a joke for Muslim people in Oldham that this is what you have to go through when you're trying to get your favourite woman up into the political scene. But again, I personally think Arooj Shah was pushed into the position because of diversity, nothing else. I don't think she's got any decent skills. Sounds like every one of her speeches is pre-written for her by someone else. And we know that consultancy fees in Oldham runs into the millions. So it's since come to light that rather than just being silent beneficiaries of the attack against me, the Conservatives were part of it, of at least 2 of their candidates hand-delivering leaflets in Chadderton South. So now you're blaming it on... I thought a minute ago you said it was a one-man campaign. Now you're saying that Conservative Party candidates was handing them leaflets out in South Chadderton. I'm not going to diss them. Whether it was them or not, I don't know. Whether it was them, and I'm not going to diss them. They did the right thing, because we have to call out the hypocrisy of people like you being in charge of a council where the men in your own community don't even get done for doing a smear campaign. This is why I'm standing this. I can't be doing with this political correctness. And a lot of the people who I talk to in Oldham would see this as well. So, attempts to falsely smear the reputation of candidates standing for an election cannot be allowed to succeed, because in the end it threatens the very foundation of democracy. It is for this reason the leaflets have been referred to the relevant authorities. But you don't say nothing about the men in your community attacking you. You're just a joke, Arooj Shah, honestly. I'm just a joke. Good job you're not in council no more anyway. Ha! So she did that leaflet, but she did another leaflet where she was just slagging off the Tories and going on about a bit of funding at Yew Tree School. And as you know, I did a video at Yew Tree School because I actively, while my grandniece went to that school, I actively got involved with things that the school did. I got involved with the water polo team, supporting them at the swimming baths. I was the only person there, me, coming from school. Some of them, a couple of parents came, but I was there supporting all the children in the water polo team. I also had a chance of getting involved in the school sports day by geeing up the kids and helping them score points for teams and that. And I also did hop, skip and jump against Mr. Lewis, which I rightly won. Although, I mean, Mr. Lewis, I'd go against him again. He's an all right geezer, he was. And so we did this with the kids. I don't just stand outside the school, my love. I don't just stand outside. I get actively involved. I want to be actively involved in communities. I want to be actively involved in making sure our children are guided right and got good role models and things like that. So that's me. Like I said, I'm not just a fly-by-night poster. So my campaign starts next week. And in about a month, I'm hoping to get a crew of people out. I'm going to get some leaflets sorted out. And I want a crew of people out in Hollywood helping me, knocking, talking to people at doors and stuff like that. But I'll set this all up through my social media and Facebook, and I'll probably give a month's notice on it. But yeah, so Arooj Shah's gone. The she was named in the top 100 most powerfulest women in the United Kingdom. What, for just running a council that like everyone writes your speeches for you, and you spend millions on consultants because you don't know what you're talking about. That's what it is. But yeah, so the diversity push is one of the reasons she got there, and I'm not gonna say anything different. That's what it. Now everyone else in the council will say something different, but not Big John. Big John's straight, honest, and forward, and she got that position for the sake of diversity. So yeah, obviously Raja's been on a campaign, but I'll tell you this again. When they fall out with each other, it's World War III, and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything about people being intimidated going to the postal voting station in Coldhurst, where my family go to. No one says anything about that, the intimidation. No one says anything about postal voting fraud, because we know there's one man telling everyone who to vote for, and nobody gets a choice in their community. Not many of them get a choice. They don't. You go with the flow or not. That's why they're all Labour strongholds. But Coldhurst has come down now. So when it's when Jim McManaman's up for his election, there's 2,000 odd people who are not going to vote for him when he's up for his MP election. And then people in Coldhurst voted for him next time. So this could be a big setback to getting Jim McManaman out, because more than 2,000 people in Coldhurst are not gonna vote for you, and that's part of your constituency. So it could be an early saying, but it could be goodbye to Jim McManaman. Get him out. We want all the main MPs out, and if I'm running in Oldham as a councillor in a few years, I'm going to run as a member of Parliament as well. Why shouldn't I? I'll be running as a member of Parliament. If we get a by-election or anything, I'm going to run. And, you know, I've told you I'm not a politician, but I have got plenty of skills. And one of the other things I've got is a good sense of morality and enthusiasm to do my job. And I'm not going to be biased or politically correct. So Arooj Shah, you put that down on that leaflet, but you don't say nothing about Clarksfield Primary School or Iqbal Secondary School in Glodwick, where they don't even learn English properly when they're leaving school. And that's a primary school and a middle school. So, but there's never no mention of them. There's only Big John who mentions them. I don't know anyone in any of the other parties, the independents, or anyone who has talked about them schools or who's even talked about integration. None of them do. None of them do. And if you think that you should be talking about integration. You should be telling Muslims they need to integrate better into Oldham. Otherwise, we're never going to have a coerce, come together time. We're never going to have. Take political correctness out, integrate better, and Oldham can be a great, great town in the UK. We can bring it back to the greatest it's ever been. But that's never going to happen. Political correctness, Arooj Shah, the council just love using them, using PC to divide communities, knowing that they can just brand everyone far right if they speak out against the council. And also, when a car got firebombed the week after, she had a load of numpties up. Now, let me just show you these numpties who she had up. Let me just show you these. The goon squad. So a car got firebombed. Fair enough, a nasty thing. So a couple of weeks after, she's with all the far left, the ones who call everyone racist, like it's a right-wing thing why a car got attacked. You couldn't make it up, honestly. You just really couldn't make it up. Let me just find... well, it's not there. Bear with me, I've got to show you this picture. Looking all the clowns up from Liverpool, Joanne Anderson and a load of other far lefties. And it was like she was, oh, the far right got me. But it wasn't a far right attacker who blew up a car. It was her own community, gangsters on the opposite side of whoever she supports and her own community. You know, and I can't find it now. That's just the pits, that. But yeah, so she did a weekend where all the far left were up, Joanne Anderson and all that. And this is a problem with the council. It's always far right, far right, far right. But it's not. It's within their own communities. This is going on. Gangster attacks in their own communities. People attacking her from her own community. It's nothing to do with anybody who's so-called far right. But yeah, so she had a load of numpties up helping her and made it look like she's, yeah, this woman's always been attacked the far right, but they never mention that it's like her own community who attack her. That's a joke of Oldham. And that goes for every stinking councillor in Oldham. There's like the politically correct. So I won't be holding prisoners. If you're going to be politically correct in Oldham, I'm not going to hold prisoners. You'll be steamrolled over by the National Housing Party UK political train, which is gearing up speed now, and we're going to be firing, and we're going to be running over you backwards, politically correct councillors who are in the council now. You're going to be steamrolled over. So just watch out for us. Just watch out for us. I'm not going away. I've got a taste now for this local councilling thing, and I won't be stopping until I get one or two. I'll get a seat, and then I'm going to get another seat. I'm going to go for the MP thing if ever a by-election or a big election like next year comes again after next year, because I'm going to get council position first. And I'm going to be running, and I'm going to be steamrolling over all you lot. Then you're going to be wondering what happened when the council's changed and Labour have lost control. You're going to be wondering what happened. White people are going to be, how come we've lost? Because you always call in a spade a fork instead of a spade. That's why you lost. The normal, regular, working class people in Oldham are not going to put up with you. And they want somebody who's going to speak on their behalf, which is me. And I'm going to speak on their behalf. I'm going to call you out when you're politically correct. I'll be doing videos. I'll be outside. You're out. I'll be outside wherever you've been politically correct, whatever school thing to do with. I will be there outside doing a video, putting you down. Putting you down. Doesn't mean I won't work with people. I'll work with any candidate from any party in my area. If I'm an elected one next year, then there's a Labour person, a Conservative person. I will work with them over two people. I won't work for their policies, but I will work for the local community to do what's best for the local community. Obviously, I won't be politically correct, but you're just going to have to put up with that. And the thing is, you want to see people's faces when I'm not politically correct. You want to see what people's faces, they're like that when I don't say politically correct. When a spade is a spade and I call it a spade, they're like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You've all been brainwashed with that political correctness rubbish. But yes, it's Big John, National Housing Party, United Kingdom. And I've done my first election. I know there's plenty of others who've been in elections and stuff like that. Great, fantastic. I'm glad you're standing up. But remember, we're against any kind of settlement to the United Kingdom. And there's not many other parties that can say that, and we are. We're not going to bend for any Ukrainians, not going to bend for anyone African, not going to bend for anyone from anywhere in the world. We don't want anybody coming back into the UK. So end to permanent settlement in the United Kingdom. And that's one of our priority things that you must agree with if you're joining the party, or you must support if you're joining the party. We want people to run, and we're a bit different, us. Like you said, we're not politically correct. And I've already shown you that in a month, I did a lot of the work on my own. In a month, I got 174 votes. Now, if I had 20 people working with me for a year, for 1 year, I will be getting thousands of votes. So please take note. I need some help, and I want some help in June. Maybe about mid-June or something like that. Maybe July, we'll see. But I want a team of canvassers. I need people. There's a lot of different things to do in the area that, like, maybe you wouldn't normally do. But there's a lot of things I want checking out. And then I need counts of. Obviously, I need people knocking on doors. Couple of the things I will be bringing up when I do canvass will be sex education in schools and housing. They've got to be the two priority things in my area at the moment, besides local issues. We've got a big school there called Oasis, and I'm being told that of a very reliable source who works at the school has reported to the school about safeguarding because she's seen a girl who lives at the school, who works at the school, who's got some mental health issues or learning difficulties, and being possibly groomed by a Muslim gang, and she's had to report it to the school. And this is happening right now in Oldham. Not many people know that, but I do, because my contact works at the school, and I know that. So someone was reported to safeguarding because outside of school hours, there's seen big gangs of Muslims with her, and she got reported. And I don't doubt that this is going on across the country. We know the scourge of the grooming gangs is still there, and it's still in the forelight, in the front light now. And it, again, it's a particular thing that I have an issue with, because there's never been any accountability. All the time grooming's been going on. No white people have ever been held to account. No councillors have ever been held to account. No social services people have never been held to account. No police have never been held to account. And I mean, it's not just grooming gangs. We're talking homes abuse. No View Home, Rochdale. The then council leader lied to an inquiry that he didn't know what was going on, but he did. Never held to account. The same things happened across the country, and it's never been held to account. The latest one I heard about was Wigan, where there was a home where kids suffered abuse, physical and sexual. No one was ever held to account, and a guy in Wigan who's complained to the council about Romanians has been targeted off council people and slated. And this guy's got mental health issues. I'm not going to stand for anything like that. If I find out somebody's trolling me from behind a screen or behind a fake profile, and I find out who that person is, if you're involved with Oldham Council, you're going to go to jail. You will go to jail after I finish with you. You will go to jail. I promise you. I'll do everything in my power to get people like you convicted, kicked out of Oldham. If you lose your job, you lose your job. I'm not going to particularly pressure the council for them to lose your job, but you're going to get a conviction. You will. So you just carry on doing stuff. But if I find out people's identities and stuff like that, I won't rest until you've been brought to justice. I will not rest. And that includes threats to me or anything like that. But thank you very much. This is Big John here, Nationalising Party United Kingdom, 174 votes after 1 month's campaign. I had a lot of trouble with my leaflets. And I did have a little bit of help, but not a lot. I could have asked for more, but I wanted to do this on my own. I wanted to weigh up the area. Now I've done it on my own. I know how many people I need. I know which doors, I know where to go. I've got a postal voting list here that I'm going to start on next week. And there's on our postal voting, there is 856 who are on the postal voting list out of 7,500 in the constituency. So that's the first thing I'm going through is this postal voting list. I'm going to knock on every door and I'm going to ask people to vote for me. And then I'll be getting round to everyone else throughout the year. Coming up, I've got a couple of things that I can get involved with in the Hollingwood area to help the local community. So I'm going to get onto them this year and try and see if I can solve these couple of things issues we've got. And I just want to thank everyone who nominated me. My nominations list, out of the 10 people, 9 of them I've known over 30 years who were on the list. I've known over 30 years. Not just people I've known, knocked on the door and said, I'm voting, will you nominate me? Not people who I've known a year or a couple of years. 9 people on my list I knew 30 years. They didn't have any hesitation to sign the list. They didn't even see my leaflet. And they were signing the list because these people know me. They know what I'm like. They know how I talk. And they know what I'm about. But yes, thank you very much for tuning in to Nationalising Party UK TV. My name's John Lawrence. And I've just successfully run in my first local election campaign and got 174 votes, which is around, according to Mike Jones, is around 10%. And I think it is. It is around 10% of the vote, and I got that, beating a Liberal Democrat and the other independent. And I'm going to try again, and I'm going to go further. And in a couple of years, if they have a full election again and the MP seat comes up, I'm going to go for MP seat. I'm looking for people to come and help. You can come from afar. I can put up, if you're coming from afar and you need lodgings, I could probably put up about 4 people where I live with my mum. Probably no more than that. But I do expect a lot of the people who will be helping will be local people. Some of you who come helping me, patriots, there'll be people in Oldham helping me who don't go on demos, but you'll get to meet them. And these are people who I've known, again, all my life. So watch out for Nationalising Party United Kingdom. If you want to join, we're looking at getting someone on board from Blackpool, Brian Parsonage. I want to contact people in Hull. I've got a couple of contacts up there, but I'm gonna contact them further. And anywhere else you want to, if you think you can stand up, you know people in your own area, join us, Nationalising Party UK. We don't mince our words and we're not politically correct. And that's a big thing to me. I won't have any political correctness. And I'm not saying I'm going to be politically correct in the future. I probably will somewhere down the line. I'm guilty of being politically correct in the past. A lot of us are. We have to really be honest with us. And I have been politically correct in the past, but I'm not going to be doing it no more. Can't stand the thing, and I think it's a big division between communities, especially in towns like Oldham, where we should be getting on better, but we don't. They drive that wedge in, keeps everyone apart, keeps tensions high. Then they can use a far right thing all the time if there's trouble. These are this will be across the country. It won't just be in Oldham. Other councils will be using it, and they're very good at using it in Oldham. Arooj Shah really picked that up dead quick and was calling everybody far right. And it's an absolute joke. But, I mean, you have to be careful of the people you get in with. Now, I'm proud of Oldham and Saddleworth. We're very much like that with Raj Army. And they're not now. They're not now. And I'll be blunt. I'll be blunt. As a person, I don't think I like the guy. I like a lot of the stuff he says, but I've kept my distance, because there's a lot of trouble now between all the independents, and it's all focused around Raja and his fight with Pride of Oldham and Saddleworth. And I said on the stream some while back, I didn't like him. People in Pride of Oldham, oh, he's a nice person. They're all against him now for whatever reason. Honestly, so, the National Housing Party UK, I am friends with some people, but I'm not bosom buddies with 99% of the people who run or are councillors. No, I'm not bosom buddies with them. A lot of them are still politically correct, even the independents, and it's just not good enough. That once we can take political correctness out of the equation in Oldham, all you'll see is a lot better in community relations and communities getting on better with each other. But it's a big wedge. They've kept it in for years. Big John's trying to dig it out on his own at the moment because there's not many others helping me. I am trying to dig that wedge out. I'm trying to dig that wedge out so together in Oldham, our communities can come together. And when I don't just mean the white community, I mean the West Indian community, I mean the Indian community, I mean the Muslim community, the Bangladeshi community, because we're never going to come together until that wedge comes out. And everybody who listens to this stream, who's in the council, they know that. They know that. Thank you very much. It's Big John, National Housing Party, United Kingdom. Again, if you want to get involved, john.lawrence at nationalhousingparty.uk or patrick.mcginnis at nationalhousingparty.uk. We still need help. We need help with a website. I want donations. I want some donations. My PayPal's up and my Sterling bank account. Thank you to the people on Amigo News channel who, I think it was 65 quid. 65 quid they put towards my last lot of leaflets. Thank you very much. And anyone else who's donated, I do get regular donations now and then. Edward Priest, thank you very much, Edward. And anyone else who's donated to me in the past, thank you very much. But I still need donations. There's leaflets to come. We want to do at least 2 or 3 rounds of leaflets in Oldham. So that's a few hundred quid in cost. As soon as I get some money, I'm going to print out get some leaflets sorted for canvassing. We want to look at getting some posters as well. We need help with a website. And I have got a website, but I need help with it because it's just beyond. It's not beyond me. I've never done a website before, and I need help. We need help with a lot of things within the party. Hopefully, we'll be getting on board Brian Parsonage in Blackpool. We're not council culture in our party. You can have been a member of another party. I don't have nothing to do with Britain First now. But if you're disappointed with them, come and join us. I don't have nothing to do with For Britain, although I've got a lot of friends in there. If you think they're going the wrong way and they're not unpolitically correct enough, join us. I don't want to take anybody, but, there's a lot of free people going around who can join parties. But we want people to stand up and be counted to run in the elections. And I've shown you that in just 1 month, I got 174 votes. In just 1 month. 1 month. Northern Heart UK is quite a big party across the United Kingdom. 67 he got. I didn't see him out in a month. And as far as I know, none of his leaflets was knocked around. I do know a couple of people who voted for him, but let's hope they vote for me next time. But yeah. Thank you very much and good evening to everyone. Have a nice evening and I'll catch up with you all very soon. Very soon. Thank you very much. Let me just check the comments. Has Pat been in? Yeah. Bill, I get you. I get you. Alice Lander, yeah, I like that. Thank you, Sally. Good, and thank you. Yes, Nobby. Arlene, thank you very much. Bill, all your input. What kind of help? Like I said, Mark, we need help with the website for a start. And like for Britain or Britain First website where you have a join, but we need all that. And we have got a website, but I've never done a website in my life, and I'm having to do it like from scratch, and it's just really difficult. Andrea Gillette, your leaflet was classy and the only one that came through my door. There you go. Andrea Gillette, and is it Andrea or Andree? Andrea Gillette there, lives in Hollins. It's the only leaflet that come through her door were mine. And that was my first leaflet. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, love. Honestly, big respect to you there. Yeah, they do Nobby Noble. The PCP girls in Wales certainly are worth helping. They're taking the Welsh court they're taking the Welsh government to court at the moment. And I am. We've got a couple of things. We're going to be doing a parachute jump, hopefully, and to raise funds for PCP Worlds. No doubts. I like the girls. If I can get to one of their demos, I probably will. But I do like the girls and I like the stuff they do. I certainly do. But anyway, thank you very much and good night.